VAR and the goal again. What's your view of the winning goal?
I just seen a few images and it looks very different to the decision, but they made that decision.
But overall, how do you feel about your team's performance? It felt a little bit like the Brentford game in that you couldn't get that 2 goals ahead.
Yeah.
And you paid.
Well, we started and we did the most difficult one to score the goal. I think after that we had 4 or 5 very open situations to score the second one. We didn't kill it. And after that, on top of that, you defend the box really poorly, the way we've done it in the 2 set pieces that we have conceded again. So they're going to punish you. On a team like Bournemouth, they're going to punish you. And after that, the game becomes rushed, very chaotic. That's what they want, big spaces. They have more legs than us, especially we set some players that were struggling in the final minutes. And we weren't able to get the result that we wanted, so very disappointed.
Oh, and Mikel, I think that's 21 points dropped from winning positions this season. Does that come down to almost losing that momentum, as you mentioned, or just how does that happen so often in one single season?
Well, I think every game probably would have a different answer to that. Certainly what happened today is that if you defend the way we done, very few set pieces, but very poorly, in the league you're going to get punished. It doesn't matter if you are ahead or behind in the scoreline.
And that momentum that kind of came for Bournemouth in the second half, how do you make sure that doesn't creep into the PSG game?
Well, we certainly wanted to create it a really good vibe. A positive result will really help us to build what we wanted towards Wednesday. So what we have created now is a lot of rage, anger, frustration, and a bad feeling in the tummy. So make sure that we use that for Wednesday to have a massive performance in Paris, win the game, and be in the final.
Did you notice that Enrique rested his whole team today, basically, all apart from Neves? I mean, that's a huge advantage for him, I guess. But you expected that.
Well, I don't know. That's not on us. They won the league, so they have the luxury. They haven't the luxury to do that. We haven't, because we still have a lot to do in the Premier League. But we have 4 days, and I'm sure we'll be fully recovered and our best to play the game.
Joe, do you still think you have a lot to do in the Premier League? I just wonder if you maybe, worst case, looking over your shoulder a little bit for top 5 now.
Well, we have a lot to do, yeah, because mathematically we are not qualified. We haven't earned the right to finish second yet, so we still have a lot to do, yeah.
Tom?
Hi, Mikel. Is there any sense that as the gap to Liverpool opened and it looked less likely the title was attainable, have you noticed any difference in the domestic performances where the motivation perhaps in the Champions League where that trophy is there to chase? Do you notice any differences in the league?
We try not to. I think that's something very, very individual, you know, the way we have prepared the game, and today we talked about a lot of things that we had to do against a very good opposition that were very necessary to win the game. We certainly missed the most important one, which is defending the box, because we did it poorly 3 times, very poorly. 1 in the first half and 2 in the second half, and it cost us the points. That's the reality.
And pre-match we talked a little bit about the rules and how perhaps they've changed across the season. We saw early in the season Havertz, the ball slightly glanced his arm as it went in, I think against Aston Villa,
yeah.
It was ruled out. This game, it looks from the replays like the ball does strike Evan Nilsson's arm, and yet it's given. Is that kind of what you were alluding to before the game?
Well, no, I wasn't, because that happened today, but I prefer not to comment on that.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Mikel. Because you've done so well in the Champions League, is the recent string of results in the league potentially impacted by the focus on the Champions League? Have you maybe took an eye off the ball in the Premier League in any way, do you think?
Again, our preparation has been exactly the same, or even more, and trying to put more emphasis into it. The margins are very small. It's true that maybe we lacked, I don't know, maybe a little bit of freshness, and the way they have to repeat today, they have to play some players that probably they were in the best condition to play, because we don't have other players. But that's it. That's the context that we have.
It must be quite frustrating though. I know you've there's still a points gap, and you should hopefully, in your position, finish second, but with the team obviously chasing you now, there must be quite a big frustration to, again, obviously.
Yeah, every time you don't win a game, especially when you lose, you are very frustrated. And as I said before, that raised that frustration, that anger, and that bad feeling that we have in the tummy. Make sure that we use it to have a big performance on Wednesday and be in the final.
Okay, last couple. Firstly, Ryan.
Mikel, you've been praised a lot this season for scoring from set pieces, but obviously conceding 2 tonight. I think you conceded 12 league goals from set pieces this season, which is the 3rd worst Is that an issue that you need to sit down with your team with and
Right.
address, or do you think it's just
I think-
bad luck?
Is not only what you score, is the difference in gap that you do between the ones that you score and the ones that you conceded, and we have conceded a lot, and especially recently, which are costing us a lot of points. That's clear, and that's everybody's responsibility. But as well, credit to the opposition. Today they've done it really well. I mean, if somebody is able to throw the ball in the middle of the goal to a guy that is taller than anybody else, and he hits the ball in the back of the net. We really want to do better, but it's difficult.
In the first half, towards the end of the first half, I noticed you seem to be getting really frustrated with your team's sloppiness at the back. Is that a concern as well going to PSG, because we know how good their front three is, but at times your team seems to be losing the ball in quite silly spaces?
Today, in many situations, we have given balls away that is nowhere near the standard that we require, certainly.
Okay, finally to Simon.
Mikel, can I just ask, in terms of fitness-wise, are you confident that Yuri will be okay for Wednesday?
No.
No.
Confident? At the moment, no, because he wasn't able to play here and we play in 4 days.
What was the issue with him?
I cannot tell you.